Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Friday Night Smackdown review. And Smackdown, of course, was from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, and still has no crowds because of the whole virus going around. And after coming off of Dynamite on Wednesday, AEW Dynamite, which was a really great show on Wednesday night. Loved it. We go from Dynamite to Smackdown. And Smackdown was just god-awful, in my opinion. And it just shows that WWE does not know how to book a show and make matches for the show, because once again WWE put on another rerun match. This week we saw the match from WrestleMania 30, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Why? And Dynamite on Wednesday did their show very good. They had some of their talent in the crowd, just making some noise, bringing a reaction to their matches. When WWE has none of their superstars in the crowd trying to, watch the match, make some noise, and get a reaction, in the match. They didn't even do that. Still, it feels lifeless. But anyways, let's get on with the review. I don't want to make this review too long because, nothing really happened on the show tonight except for the contract signing between Goldberg and Roman Reigns. And Rob Gronkowski, of course, making his appearance, which, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit that he's hosting WrestleMania? WrestleMania, it should be called FAILUREMANIA this year, because WWE has to make 2 nights for WrestleMania. It's taking place for 2 nights on April 4th, Saturday night, and April 5th, which is the original date for WrestleMania. But no, we got to have it for 2 nights with no crowds, which is going to be fucking dreadful. WrestleMania is going to be dreadful without a crowd. This will be the worst WrestleMania in WWE's history without a crowd. And don't get me wrong, there have been WrestleManias that weren't the greatest. And this WrestleMania is probably go down as one of the worst, in my opinion, on that list of worst WrestleManias. But we could all thank this whole virus for, ruining WrestleMania and not giving us, a crowd because of this. So let's get on with the Smackdown review. So Smackdown opened up with Michael Cole. Michael Cole was the only one who was doing commentary tonight. Triple H wasn't there. I mean, with Triple H being there last week, it was very fun. And I liked the pairing last week between him and Michael Cole on commentary. But Michael Cole was the only one on commentary tonight. Michael Cole was in the ring. He was talking about WrestleMania airing over 2 nights, which, like I said, is going to be fucking dreadful. And, Michael Cole ends up telling us that Rob Gronkowski is the host of WrestleMania. Who's all excited about seeing Rob Gronkowski host WrestleMania? I, for one, am not. I mean, why is this guy signed to WWE? Waste of a contract, waste of signee. So Michael Cole ended up sending us to a video package looking at Rob Gronkowski, from when he made his appearance in WrestleMania 33. So we saw that. Like, who gives a shit? And Michael Cole says there will be a party at WrestleMania. Yeah, a party that nobody is even looking forward to, especially even with a crowd not being there. Yeah, it's going to be some boring party at WrestleMania. So Mojo Rawley was shown in the ring with Michael Cole. Michael Cole ends up introducing Gronkowski, but Mojo ended up snatching the mic out of Cole's hand. He tried to get Michael Cole hyped up for the introduction for Gronkowski. So Mojo Rawley ends up doing the introduction for his best friend, Gronkowski. And then out came Gronkowski, dancing his way to the ring, looking like a fool. And he ends up saying that Gronkowski ends up saying that he's been watching WWE since he was a kid. He said he watched the early days of FCW, which was, I think, Florida Championship Wrestling, which was held back in the day. And he watched in those early days of FCW to support Mojo. He ended up saying that he's been at sold-out WrestleMania events. And he says now he's in front of 0 people. And he's still hype. Why? Why are you hype? Why the hell are you hype? Shouldn't be hyped for WrestleMania. I know you're the host of WrestleMania, but you shouldn't be hyped because you're not even gonna get a crowd at WrestleMania. So Gronkowski ends up mentioning his WrestleMania hosting gig. Mojo ends up saying that he's here to watch Gronkowski back because WWE is different from the NFL. So both Gronkowski and Mojo got hyped up. Gronkowski ended up delivering chops to Mojo's chest. And then, can this segment get any fucking worse? Out came Corbin. So Corbin came out. Corbin ends up congratulating Gronkowski on making it to WWE. He ends up saying that he set himself up for failure by aligning himself with Mojo. So he went on. He said he expects Gronkowski to get on his knees and bow to him. And Gronkowski wasn't having that. So then we had Corbin, talking trash on Gronkowski. And then, this segment got even more worse because we had Elias come out. So Elias ends up coming out with his latest song. It annoyed Corbin. And Gronkowski ends up shoving Corbin back. Mojo was shown kneeling down behind Corbin. So both Mojo Rawley and Gronkowski laughed at Corbin. Elias ended up entering the ring. He attacked Corbin. And he tossed Corbin out of the ring. Gronkowski says he can't make matches. And he proposes Elias versus Corbin at WrestleMania. Elias versus Corbin is not a WrestleMania quality match. This is like, WWE just throwing this match on the card just for nothing. Tell me, does this match scream WrestleMania quality? No, it doesn't. And that was how the segment ended, but this segment was god-awful. Absolute shit. I mean, who was looking forward to seeing Elias versus Corbin? I bet you zero are looking forward to seeing it at WrestleMania. Or as I would say for this year's WrestleMania, Failure Mania. You know, because WWE could have postponed WrestleMania. They could have waited until, you know, like I said, June or July. And there was an article stating that if, you know, WWE was looking for a place for WrestleMania, they were hinting at Madison Square Garden. I mean, can you imagine having WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden? Hell, I would be interested in going. But no, they still want to have it at the Performance Center. I mean, if you would have had WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden, it would have sold out, and you know it would be the first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 20 at the Garden. So, WWE could have did that, but you know Vince is greedy. He's gotta do stuff for himself. He's gotta do stuff for himself. You know, it's all about for what Vince wants. That's all it is. Vince is what Vince wants. Doesn't care about the fans, not one bit. Even the superstars wanted WWE to postpone WrestleMania and move it to a later month. Right there, it just proves that Vince, of course, doesn't care about the fans. He hasn't even cared about the fans for years. God knows who knows when he stopped caring for the fans. And he doesn't care about his superstars that you know are there. It's like they're catering to what Vince wants. And you know what? What Vince wants, Vince gets. It's sad. It's sad. So then we had Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. And match itself, very, you know, meh match, my opinion. And Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak, they came out. They started doing the yes chant in the empty arena, thinking that fans were there. And we see Daniel Bryan starts off with Nakamura in the ring. Sami Zayn was on commentary with Michael Cole. And it was good hearing Sami Zayn on commentary. He's one of the best things going on Smackdown. And, you know, he's Intercontinental Champion. So it was back and forth between these guys. Daniel Bryan ended up taking control of the match. Tagged in Drew Gulak. They ended up doing a double team on Nakamura. And at the end of the match, Daniel Bryan ended up rolling up on Cesaro. Daniel Bryan did a sunset flip into a pin. So Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak end up winning the match. Cesaro, the look on Cesaro's face, he was surprised. Sami Zayn was yelling at the referee, claiming that Daniel Bryan wasn't the legal man. So basically, that was that. But all in all, very meh match. But Sami Zayn on commentary was, you know, decent. It was cool. It was cool to hear Sami Zayn on commentary. And then when Smackdown came back from the commercial, Daniel Bryan was backstage with Drew Gulak. Sami Zayn walks up to them, rants about how they shouldn't be celebrating a win that was mediocre. He ended up saying they squeaked out a win last week and this week. So Sami Zayn ended up asking Daniel Bryan when he's going to come to his senses and start listening to him, to the Intercontinental Champion, and quit listening to this nobody named Drew Gulak. So Daniel Bryan ended up firing back, and he ended up saying to Sami Zayn, "Oh, I am challenging you to a title match at WrestleMania." So the Intercontinental Championship, will be on the line only if Sami ends up saying if Drew Gulak can beat Nakamura next week. So if Drew Gulak ends up beating Nakamura next week, then Daniel Bryan will get a shot at the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania against Sami Zayn. So we'll have to wait next week, see if Daniel Bryan will get a shot at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. So that was that. Then we went to Michael Cole. Michael Cole was in the ring. He introduced Paige. Paige back on WWE TV. Good to see Paige back on WWE TV. Even though I know she's hosting WWE Backstage on FS1, which I kind of like WWE Backstage, even though it's on very late at 11 o'clock on Tuesday. They stopped it. They stopped doing it for now because of the whole outbreak. But Paige goes to speak, and Bayley and Sasha Banks end up coming out. And they both are not happy with Paige not showing up last week, and that Paige is getting time this week. And Paige, was shown by a satellite on the screen, and they welcome Paige to their show, and they tell her to get on what Paige has to say. So Paige ended up calling Sasha and Bayley bullies. Both of them ended up laughing at Paige for being forced into retirement. So Paige ended up saying they're right. Her career is over. And what she loved to do was taken away from her. She ended up saying that she wouldn't wish that on anyone, even Sasha and Bayley. So Paige went on, and she ended up saying that she spoke to the people at Fox, her friends at Fox, and asked if she could be the one to announce Bayley's match. So Bayley ended up saying that her and Sasha are skipping WrestleMania and going right to the Hall of Fame. Of course, the Hall of Fame is canceled for now. So sorry about that, but I was saying, Bayley ended up saying that her and Sasha are skipping WrestleMania and going right to the Hall of Fame. And I'm sorry to say, Bayley, the Hall of Fame is put on hold for now because of the whole outbreak. So there was rumors saying that the Hall of Fame, WWE might move the Hall of Fame to SummerSlam weekend. Who knows, if that's going to be, if the WWE is going to go that route and make the Hall of Fame at SummerSlam weekend. So Paige ended up revealing that it will be Bayley defending the title against Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke. Why Dana Brooke? Tamina Snuka, which Bayley ended up joking around saying, "Oh, Tamina, is she still with this company? Is she still employed with WWE?" So Bayley ended up making that joke. So it's Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Naomi, and the last participant in this match that Bayley will be defending her title against is Sasha. So it's going to be a 6-pack elimination match, and Bayley is going to be defending her title against these 6 women. So Sasha ends up looking over at Bayley. Bayley ends up storming out of the ring, and pretty much that was basically that. So, but yeah, it was good seeing Paige on TV. And then we had the replay match from WrestleMania 30, Cena versus Wyatt. You know, the match that people say ruined Bray Wyatt. So we had that whole match played. And then we had The Miz and John Morrison come out. So they end up in the ring. And when Smackdown came back from the commercial, we had Kayla Braxton. She was backstage with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. And Nikki Cross ends up flipping out at Asuka. And Alexa Bliss ended up taking the mic, and she ended up addressing Asuka. So Bliss ended up inviting Asuka to SmackDown next week. She ends up challenging Asuka to a match. And so that was basically that. So we're going to get to see Alexa Bliss versus Asuka next week on SmackDown. So then after that we had the Dirt Sheet with The Miz and John Morrison. And they end up saying that they're missing something besides the fans. And they are missing challengers for WrestleMania. So Morrison ends up saying they already defeated everyone in the Elimination Chamber. And Miz then joked and said they should ask the audience who should be their WrestleMania opponents. So then we hear the New Day's intro. And we see a shot of The Miz and John Morrison dressed as Kofi and Big E. John Morrison was dressed as the unicorn. And I have to say, this was funny. This was really enjoyable, in my opinion, what The Miz and Morrison did. So they were dressed as Kofi and Big E. And then we see another shot of The Miz and Morrison dressed as the Usos. And next we see them dressed as Heavy Machinery. They were dressed as, Bacon. The two of them were dressed in a Bacon costume. So they were using the editing to make it look like, the teams were arguing with each other and making all 3 teams, making the teams look bad. So I thought it was funny. I thought, it was, really funny how The Miz ended up portraying New Day, the Usos, and Heavy Machinery. So The Miz and John Morrison were ready to take the night off. And then Heavy Machinery's music ended up hitting. So then we had a match. The Miz and John Morrison versus Heavy Machinery. Which Heavy Machinery, they're always entertaining, Otis and Tucker. So we had John Morrison and Otis start off the match. And Morrison launches himself at Otis. Otis ended up sending Morrison to the canvas. Otis ends up hitting a suplex to Morrison, and Tucker ends up tagging himself in. And Tucker ends up grabbing the suplex while Morrison was still, in the air. They slammed him, and there was a point in the match where Dolph Ziggler ended up coming out. So Dolph Ziggler joins Michael Cole on commentary. So there came a point where Otis was going to hit the Caterpillar on The Miz and John Morrison because both of them were laid out. Dolph Ziggler ends up getting up, gets on the mic, and he ends up saying that he knows Otis is smitten with his kitten. And he wants Otis to see some photos. And Dolph Ziggler ends up showing on the screen of photos of him and Mandy Rose spending time together. And these are the same photos that we saw them post, that Dolph Ziggler posted on social media. So Otis wasn't handling that. Dolph Ziggler ends up taunting Otis, and Otis ends up exiting the ring, and he attacks Dolph at ringside. He catches Dolph, throws him back over. Otis goes to use a chair, a steel chair, goes to use it on Dolph. Miz and Morrison attack Otis from behind. They grab the chair to stop Otis, and they bring Otis back in the ring. Otis ends up countering both Morrison and The Miz, sends them out to the floor. Dolph Ziggler was shown crawling away. Otis ends up snapping again. We see him send John Morrison into the ring steps, and then he sends Miz onto the announce table. Otis ends up slamming Miz into the announce table a few times, then sends him into the steel steps. And Otis catches John Morrison, and he ends up running John Morrison into the ring post. And Otis ends up charging and tackling John Morrison through the barricade. He also takes out The Miz too. The Miz also goes through the barricade. So Otis then ended up grabbing a chair. Tucker comes over, tries to calm Otis down. He's like, I know you're pissed off. Just calm down. And Otis doesn't listen, and he hits the chair shot. I think it was to The Miz. And Jessica Carr, who was the referee, ends up calling for the bell. So The Miz and John Morrison win the match by disqualification. Then, post-match, we saw Dolph Ziggler looks on from the stage. Otis, destroys things at ringside. Tucker ends up trying to console him, try to calm him down. That was basically that. But overall, match itself, it was meh, in my opinion. Heavy Machinery, they're entertaining though. But the match was just very meh, in my opinion. Then we had the contract signing between Roman and Goldberg. So Michael Cole was in the ring. He brings out Roman Reigns. Then he brought out Goldberg. Goldberg ended up getting some pyro. Goldberg ends up getting in the ring, placed the Universal title on the table. Both Goldberg and Roman were staring down at each other. Michael Cole ended up asking both of them to take their seats. and both Roman and Goldberg tossed their chairs out of the ring. And they were staring at each other. They were staring down at each other. Michael Cole ends up asking Goldberg who he expected to answer his recent challenge. Goldberg said he actually hoped it would be Roman, but didn't think Roman had the balls to challenge him. So Michael Cole ended up asking Roman why he accepted. Roman ends up saying that he's been fortunate because all the greats, from John Cena to The Undertaker, have challenged him, and they all failed. So Roman says Goldberg will be no different. Michael Cole asks Roman about a recent shot he took at Goldberg on Twitter. Roman ended up saying Goldberg is nothing but a little bitch bulldog in his yard, holding his title he never earned. So Roman ends up signing the contract. Goldberg was still staring at Roman. Goldberg ends up calling Roman a punk. Says he's been destroying doors all over the world with his headbutt. He says, come WrestleMania, Roman will be his next victim. So Goldberg signs the contract, hands the contract folder to Michael Cole. Goldberg then picks up the title and flips the table. So Roman and Goldberg met in the middle of the ring. They're still staring each other down as Smackdown went off the air. That was basically that. So Roman versus Goldberg at WrestleMania for the Universal title. There's going to be a way for WWE or Vince to get the title on Roman because of the whole Roman agenda where they do it for Roman. Goldberg is going to be losing that title at WrestleMania. It's going to be going on to Roman. And Vince is going to get his his golden boy Roman with the title around his waist again. Yeah, so who's looking forward to that? I know I'm not. When is WWE going to stop with this Roman agenda? When are they going to know that they're trying to get Roman over and it's not working? It's not fucking working. Every time they tried to get Roman over, they failed. And it's going to fail again. How many times? How many times does WWE have to see that Roman is not getting over? They'll never learn. They'll never learn. So anyways, that's it for the Friday Night Smackdown review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, I'll see you all later.